Okay, I've been trying to get this video out for the last 2 days and every time I do, something comes up. So this is round 3 and we're gonna get it done today. Today we're talking about purchasing a used unit, what you should be looking for, how you can pick and choose the right ones and make sure that you're getting your best bang for your buck when it comes to buying a used inflatable unit. Now, probably the first thing that you would look for in an inflatable unit is the manufacturer's label. This is sometimes attached to the warning label and the rules label or whatever. And sometimes it's separate and it's on the back. It basically gives you the name of the manufacturer, and it also gives you some other pertinent information. You know, the size of the unit, the weight, things like that. One of the most important pieces of information that it gives you is the year of manufacturing. Why this is important is because the manufacturer's year will let you know the time that it was put together. The vinyl that is used for the inflatables kind of has a shelf life to it. Now, that's not to say that it's going to spoil immediately or that it's something that you can kind of narrow down to a month or something like that. But it is saying that if you have a unit that is in a certain age range, is getting towards the end of its life, and certain things are going to happen. What I've found personally is that water units, because of their extended exposure to sunlight, they're used in the summer, so they're out during the day, and during the summer, the days are longer, so you're putting the water unit out in the sun a lot longer. There's a heat applied to it for long periods of time. There's water that is running over the unit and getting into the seams, and that water is carrying any of the pieces of sand or grit or dirt into those seams and causing abrasive within the seams. So, given all that, a water unit will usually last, again, my own observations, between 3 and 5 years. Now, I'm doing about, on average, 30 to 40 rentals per year per unit during that time. So, you can kind of gauge where you're at. And again, there's tons of different things that will kind of feed into this. There's factors that make a huge difference. But those are the ones that we're looking at: sunlight and the water and the grime or the dirt, the grit. Obviously all those have huge factors on the inflatable units. So water slide, 3 to 5 years, 30 to 40 rentals per year. That will kind of give you a mindset if you're doing between 100 and 150 rentals, 160 rentals. Other units like your bounce houses and your obstacles, the dry units, again, they kind of have a different lifestyle. They're normally not, wet. Those particular kind of units have kind of a built-in shade. So a lot of the material isn't being affected by the sunlight the same way. Sometimes they're used indoors, and most of the time you're getting an extended rental period where people will stop renting those in the summer because they're only renting water slides, and they'll rent them in the spring and the fall. Again, has a big factor because of the heat, also because of the direct UV rays in the spring and fall are different from when you're looking, in the summertime when it's really beaten down. So what we're looking at is probably, I've gotten up to 10 or 12 years out of those units, just really depending on it. And again, the base rentals on those, probably a little less. I probably get between 25 and 35 rentals per year on my units. So again, that'll give you kind of a number that you're looking at, both in time span and in the number of rentals. So you found the tag, you found the year of manufacturing, and you know about what the lifespan of your unit is and where you're at in there. What else do you need to look for? Probably one of the biggest things is The any kind of damage or repairs that have been made in the play area is going to be huge. You do not want holes or any kind of stretch material or a repair that is in a play area, because kids have a funny way of finding those holes and twisting their little ankles, or sticking their fingers in it and breaking their fingers, or even if it's been repaired, they like to pick at those repairs and it won't last long. So what you're left with is a situation where you have this repair that's done and the kids have picked it apart, and now you've got back to the hole where you started from, and that's not going to be good, because again, kids are jostling around, they're bumping each other, they're knocking each other around, and one of them's got a finger or a hand or a foot down in one of these holes, and then suddenly you have an injury that causes a problem. So when you're inspecting the unit, you want to look to see if there's any kind of damage in those areas. Now, damage on the other areas is important because you don't want a damaged unit, but those kind of damage areas can be fixed or mitigated fairly easy with some Tear-Aid or a similar product, or even a patch. If there's a hole on the bottom of the unit, you can patch that up pretty easily. Also on the towers of the bounce house, if they're up out of range, or on the outside of the units where the kids aren't going to be touching it. Those again can be easily fixed. Probably won't be the prettiest thing in the world, but something you need to pay attention. There's some cosmetic things that you need to look at. If there is some silly string damage, that can be a problem. Also, if there's some stains that is caused by leaves or something like that, something that's not going to come out easily. Again, those kind of things aren't always 100% permanent, but they are a pain to get out. So you need to kind of take that in consideration when you're putting a dollar amount on those units. The next thing that you want to look for is the Velcro. Any kind of unit that has Velcros, like on a slide mat or something, you want to make sure that Velcro is still holding tight. Velcro in those particular areas, especially on slide mats or something like that, that has let loose or is given way and is no longer holding, presents kind of a unique problem because it is very difficult to repair those. It's not the easiest repair in the world, and it's really because of the placement of the Velcro. You can't get the sewing machine in there, so what you're left with is a difficult task to try to fix it. And then there's been tons of different ways to look at it, but honestly, there's just not an easy way to do it. And if you talk to somebody that repairs the unit, they'll tell you that's one of the worst things that you can be dealing with. Also, the Velcro that is on the hatches or the air vents on the side, you need to make sure that Velcro is good and is holding, especially if there's not a zipper there, or if the zipper has been damaged, you need to inspect that as well. So make sure your Velcro is in good shape. Again, I would pass on a unit that had weak Velcro simply because the repair is too much. Another thing that you need to look for is the amount of blowers that it's taking to hold the unit up. Now, normally, if you look back on that manufacturer's label, it'll tell you what kind of blower you need and what power blower, how many horsepower blower you need. Like a bounce house usually takes a 1 horsepower blower and it should hold fine. If you get a unit that takes more blowers than what is recommended on the label, there's a problem, and that problem is that the seams have started to loosen. Now, this is caused by a lot of different things. It can be age, it can be the thread that has been used, it can be tons of different things, the way that it was sewn together, just a myriad of different things. But there really it's very difficult to repair. So what happens is that you're going to have to put more blowers onto a unit just to keep it up or to keep it firm. The problem with that is that if it continues to get worse, you're going to get to the point where you're going to run out of blower, or if it it does take more than one blower. You're always in a situation where you're using more power for this particular unit, and that's not good. So what you need to do is make sure that you're in a situation where you're using pretty close to what the manufacturer recommends for the blower. If you have to go up a half horsepower, you know, put a 1.5 on a 1, or you know, something that requires a 1 horsepower, that's probably not a big deal. It's probably not a bad situation. You could probably work with that. But anything beyond that where you're adding, you need to keep in mind that that's going to be a problem later on, and you probably need to adjust for that. All right, let's see. You've got your year, you've got your inspection done. Another thing that you need to keep in mind is the accessories that go with it. Stakes, blowers, tarps, things like that. If they're not providing you with any of that stuff, you're going to have to buy it. Stakes are running about $12 a piece on the low end. Plus, it can be shipped as well. So, I mean, even for a bounce house with 4 stakes, you're looking at an additional $60. Not good. So keep that in mind. A blower can run you anywhere from $150 up to $400. I've seen them. So all of that is tagged onto this price that they're asking for this unit. So if you get a unit that is $1,000 and then all of a sudden you're spending, you know, $60 on stakes and $300 for a blower, and then shipping to you from, you know, wherever the state is, you just added another $500, $600, $700. So you're in the range to where you could almost buy a new unit. And that's what I suggest is that you talk to your manufacturers and let them know, hey, I'm looking at this used unit. The price is pretty close to what you guys are offering a new one. Can you come off your price a little bit? And you will be surprised that some of the manufacturers will give you a little discount or give you a price cut if they can, or maybe free shipping, or, you know, whatever, and make it more in the ballpark of picking up. You can get a new unit for the price of a used unit. Make sure you inspect the unit. Make sure you ask questions. Make sure that you're buying a unit that's made by a reputable company and not just some, you know, fly-by-night or knockoff company. Because honestly, to tell you the truth, you're going to run into more problems with those units than you will than you know, just spending that little bit of extra money and getting a reputable unit from a reputable company. I'm going to do some more videos later on and kind of go over some of the companies that I've used and you know, the units that I've liked in the past. Again, been doing it about 20 years, so I understand there's a ton of companies out there, and some of them have come and some of them have gone, but there's some really good companies out there with really good people to work with, and I can let you guys know that, and also some of the problems that I've had in the past with the units. So, you know, just kind of keep in mind. Let me know what you guys think, what kind of companies you've been using. Also, your favorite units. If you don't mind, comment below, and do me a favor, like and subscribe, so I can keep this channel going and we can keep talking and keep moving forward and giving you that good information. I appreciate your time. I love doing it, and have a good day.